I've been waiting forever to make this Avgolemono, which is a Greek lemon chicken and rice soup. So delicious, very easy to make. And while there are some variations to this recipe, I'm gonna give you my take. First, we're gonna start off with some prep. Sound good? Let's cook. I've got a whole roasting chicken that weighs about 4 pounds. I like using whole chickens because you get the best bang for the buck when using it. Plus, you can make your own chicken stock from it, which is what we're going to do in this recipe. If you don't want to do this, you can absolutely use pre-cooked chicken and homemade chicken stock. I've got a recipe for you there. We're going to add the whole chicken to a very large stock pot. The next thing we're going to do is add in some mirepoix. I've got 1 roughly chopped yellow onion. Next, I've got 2 roughly chopped celery stalks. And then I've got 2 roughly chopped carrots. No, I did not peel those. And then I've got 2 garlic cloves. Next, I'm going to add in about 3 or 4 sprigs of fresh Italian parsley and 2 bay leaves. At this point, we are going to add in 1 gallon of cold water. Now, let's take that big stock pot over to our cooktop. We are going to turn the heat on to about medium. It's going to take about an hour or so for this to simmer, for the chicken to cook, and to make sure we've got a nice flavorful broth. Now, every 20 minutes or so, we are going to come back and we're going to do something what my chefs used to call skimming the scum. A lot of those impurities will rise to the top. We're just going to use a spoon and discard those. This is a pretty clean chicken, so I'm not seeing too much of this, but it's still a great idea to come back every 20 minutes or so to do this. Now, don't go too far because this is actually great timing to knock out all the vegetable prep for the soup. And as I stated earlier, there are some variations when it comes to this soup, and most of that falls within the vegetables used. Now, I'm going to show you my vegetable blend that I like, but I've also seen folks add turnips or even potatoes. So the one that I'm using isn't necessarily set in stone. You can take out a few things and add a few things. Make this recipe work for you. Okay, here's what we do. I've got 1 large red onion. We're just going to slice off the ends, slice it in half, remove that outside peel, and then what we want to do is small dice it. Time to put those knife skills to the test, my friends. Now, I'm only going to use half of this onion because it is pretty big, so maybe 1 medium or a half of a large. Now for leeks, I've got 2 of them. Remember, you can only really use the white part, which is at the bottom. Again, we are going to small dice these. These leeks are pretty clean. No need to really rinse them off. If you see mud or dirt, put them in a colander and give them a quick rinse. For carrots, I've got 2 carrots. We are just going to peel those. And then again, we want to small dice these. We're going to do the exact same thing with 2 celery stalks. Give them a small dice. Set all of those vegetables to the side. And then when it comes to garlic, I've got 2 cloves here, and you already know what I'm going to do, going straight through a press. Let's set all the vegetables to the side. Let's go back over to our chicken. Let's have a look, see how it is. And it smells amazing. The chicken is floating. It is definitely finished. It's been about an hour. What we want to do is remove the stock pot from the cooktop. Go back over to the counter. What I have is a plate on the side. Now, remove the chicken. It's been cooking in that liquid for an hour, so it may break apart. That is totally fine. It's no problem. We'll just simply go back in there and take out all of the large pieces that we're going to set them to the side on a plate. And now we want to strain the broth once the chicken is out. So run it through a fine mesh strainer or a chinois. What this does is just remove any of the small little particles and, of course, the big ones. Go ahead and give that chinois or strainer a nice little shake. Get all of that goodness, that chicken stock out of there that you possibly can. I've got about 1 gallon of chicken stock left over. Absolutely perfect. We're going back over to the same pot. You can use a clean one. Totally up to you. I gave mine a quick little rinse. We're going to add that in there. Then we're going to add in our diced red onion, followed up with our diced celery. Next, our diced leeks. And then, of course, our carrots, followed up with garlic. Now, we are going to turn the heat on to low-medium. We're just going to cook these for about 5 to 7 minutes, start to get the vegetables nice and tender. And at that point, we are going to come back, and I've got some short grain rice. This is perfect to use in here because it's a little starchier. It's going to help thicken our soup up. I have 1.5 cups of our barrio rice, but you can use any short grain rice here. So really quickly, say you don't want to serve up and eat this soup right away. Maybe you want to wait a few hours, or maybe you don't even want to eat it until the next day. Now, remember my chicken noodle soup recipe video where I cooked the noodles separate? You can absolutely cook the rice separate as well. Sure, you may lose some starchiness in the soup because the rice isn't cooked in there, but you're not going to have mushy, overcooked rice. So when it comes time to serve it, you add a ladle full of that broth, chicken, and veggies, and then add about a half cup of cooked rice right into that soup. Boom, perfectly cooked rice. The problem is, if you aren't going to serve this for a few days, or maybe you want to eat it as leftovers for a couple of more days, the rice is going to continue to absorb that liquid. It's going to be mushy, almost like a gruel, not a beautiful Avgolemono like you had planned. Okay, so to cook the rice separate, here's what you want to do. I don't care if you rinse this rice or not. Totally up to you. You know I love ruffling feathers. Next, we're going to add 2 cups of our barrio to a pot. Hit it with 3 cups of water. We're going to bring it to a boil. Next, once it's boiling, we're going to add a lid on it. Immediately turn the heat down to low. Let it simmer for 10 minutes. Come back, fluff up the rice. Boom. Perfectly cooked in case you want to do this route. If you don't, here's how you continue on with this recipe. So for the chicken, what I like to do first is just take the time to remove the skin on all of the pieces and set that to the side, and then go right after the meat. Pull the breasts completely away from the bone and the carcass. Same with the thighs and the drums. Remove all of the meat that you possibly can. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Just get as much as you possibly can. And then using your chef knife, come back over, and what we want to do is roughly mince it. I like small little pieces of chicken here, nice little quick bite-sized pieces, so to speak. If you want bigger chunks, totally fine. There is a lot of chicken, and if you love a very hearty chicken-filled soup, you can use all of it in this Avgolemono. If you only want to use half or a third or even 2/3, take the extra chicken, put it in one of those plastic zip bags, throw it in the freezer. It will last up to 6 months in there. Pull it out as you need it. Maybe you want to put it in some rice or another soup. Don't feel like you have to use all of it. Okay? Here's what we do next. The chicken takes about 5 to 10 minutes to break down and chop it up. So by the time we add it in there, the rice will be completely cooked, and it is now perfect time to add this in there. I'm only adding in about 2/3 of the chicken. Again, I froze the extra third for a later date. Now we simply turn the heat down to low. And now it's time to add 2 of the most important ingredients to this recipe, egg and lemon, which also means Avgolemono. Got it? What I'm going to do is just use an egg yolk. I have seen folks use whole eggs, but if I think of my culinary background and hear the word liaison or binder, it's an egg yolk. And what this does is help to combine a soup and to help thicken it. Now, the egg yolk has a lot of fat in there. It will also help add some creamy deliciousness to it. You can use a whole egg. For me, I'm going just an egg yolk. Okay, here's how you make it. So I've got 4 large eggs. What we want to do is release the egg white from the egg yolk. You do this by cracking it in half and then bobbling the yolk back and forth until the whites completely fall away. What we're going to do next is just add them to a large bowl. And I'm a total liar here because you know what? I'm going to add in 3 egg yolks plus 1 whole egg. I know I just said egg yolks, but I think the whites are going to add some nice frothiness to it. So at this point, we are going to zest up 2 lemons on a fine micro plane. And then next, we're going to slice those lemons in half and then completely squeeze the juice out of them. And now grab your whisk and vigorously whisk this together until it's completely combined. And plus, it should be frothy. You'll see some foam on there. Absolutely perfect to this consistency. So what we're going to do once it is here is we're going back over to that stock pot. I've got just a liquid measuring cup. We're going to take about a half to 2/3 cup out. It's okay if a few vegetables get in there, no problem. We're going back over to our egg lemon mixture, what we want to do is temper the eggs. So you add a little bit at a time, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons. This helps to bring the eggs up to temperature. If you were to just dump all these eggs in this soup without tempering them, you would have scrambled eggs. You'd literally have egg drop soup. This is the process to help alleviate those scrambled eggs. We temper them, we whisk them continuously while adding in little bits of hot liquid. Okay, once it is whisked together, go back over to that stock pot. What we're going to do is gently stir it in using a spoon until it is completely combined. And what we do at this point is simply finish the soup with salt and fresh cracked black pepper. Remember, season once, taste twice. Taste it, season it, taste it again. Does it need a little more, or are we good? Great practice there. And you'll see how deliciously creamy and amazing this soup looks, tastes, and smells. And for storage, if you don't plan on serving this right away, definitely use my tip where you cook the rice separate. You keep that separate from the soup. You can cover it and keep it cool in the refrigerator for up to 5 days or up to 3 months in the freezer. Be sure to thaw it for a day in the refrigerator before reheating it. And it is all about these fundamental basic techniques and putting them into practice so that it will elevate your everyday cooking. And the food that comes from it from scratch is it's just the best. I don't even know what else to say. It's just so dang tasty. Do it, practice it. You got this. I am going to add a little garnish to this, little trick. Here's how you plate this up. So to plate this up, we are just going to add a few ladles to a nice large bowl. And then this next part is totally optional, but what I like to do is add some finely minced fresh dill and parsley. Just adds a nice little kick of flavor there. You could also add in some finely minced fresh oregano if you'd like. And man, oh man, let's get in this.